Yes, guys, I'm 𝒖. Welcome to 𝒂i𝐭y Podcast Nation. This is your Preston versus Cardiff City preview. It is live because I haven't had a moment to myself to record and edit it as normal. So we're going to have a quick 20-minute preview. We're going to talk Preston versus Cardiff. Going to try to do it in the general same order, same format that we usually do, where we look at the game generally, we look at the opponent, we look at the man to watch, then we look at Cardiff, teams, etc., etc. So let's kick it off. Preston welcome Cardiff to Deepdale on Saturday, 3 o'clock. But it's a very important contest at the top end of the championship, the playoff places. Following the international break, the hosts Preston will be looking to find themselves fifth on the back of a couple of victories, while the visitors are only 4 points behind and within touching distance of the playoffs. It has been a mixed season overall for Ryan Lowe and Preston. They've returned to action. In the November international break, they went into on a bit of a high after a couple of wins, climbed back into those playoff places earlier in the month. But they did have a bit of a wobble. After enjoying an exceptional start, they won 6 of their opening 7 games and then drew a couple. The Manchester-based outfit then had to endure 7 matches without a win between September and late October, amassing just 3 points along the way, which meant they dropped out with the top 6. The pressure was building, but they managed to make a return to winning ways. At the beginning of the month, they hosted Coventry. They won 3-2 thanks to goals from Dwayne Holmes, Alan Brown and 𝒂i𝒭 before most recently making the short trip to rivals Blackburn, taking the bragging rights there. And then Brown had Lowe's side ahead at Ewood Park, but the game looked set for end level before Smochic's leveller, only for Liam Lindsay to pop up with a 90th minute winner to seal the 8th victory of the campaign. Preston, on the whole, have been very, very impressive this year, particularly their home form, and it's going to be very difficult for Cardiff to get anything there. I said just now on the Rhodri Giggs show, I would take a point, but Cardiff away from home, but Errol Bullet has made them very difficult to break down, and then they've got a habit of pinching some results, pinching some goals late on. Cardiff City have enjoyed an encouraging start. They've collected 24 points from their first 16 games. They sit 9th in the championship. They passed the 20-point mark recently with a consecutive 4-0, 2-0 victories over Huddersfield and Bristol in October, but they were unable to extend that winning run as they went into those last couple of outings. They had to settle for a point at Stoke, which they probably should have won away. But they then played host to Norwich last time out and somehow managed to play ourselves out of a victory, leading 2-1, only for a Ryan Wintle own goal, and Adam Idaya quickly netted the winner for Norwich. But they're down to 9th, but Cardiff remain touching distance with the playoffs, and it'll be a very difficult game. The form of both teams is actually pretty similar. Like Preston's last 6 has been lost 2, drawn 2, won 2. Cardiff's last 6 is 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. So it's identical. It's going to be interesting because Cardiff have got some potential injury problems. If we look at the kind of coming out of the international break, some of the team news. The international break probably didn't do much to help Preston because they've got quite a lot of injuries, which maybe have benefited Cardiff. Hughes, Watmore, Cunningham, Ali McCann, who's a good player, Emil Reels, all still confined to the injuries, so I don't think they'll play. Liam Miller is also a doubt, so it is in their absence. Robbie Brady's probably going to play on the left-hand side. Kian Best, 18-year-old, highly rated, probably in there as well. And then you've got Jordan Story in the back three. So there is some sort of squad players, young players in that Preston side that maybe Cardiff can take advantage of. The summer signings, 𝒂i𝐭y and 𝒂i𝒻 should play their key roles up front. 𝒂i𝐭y in particular has been very impressive for Preston this year. And having, they've netted 3 and 4 goals between them, each, and they've been very good. I've been very, very impressed. And they, of course, they got Captain Alan Brown offering further support. But Cardiff have, according to the manager at least, have got everyone bar Ramsey and O'Dowda, which is good news because there was rumours of an injury to 𝒐𝒅𝒅𝒕𝒄𝒓. 𝒃𝒄𝒄 missed the game, so hopefully he's back. I don't think. Well, Cardiff will probably make a couple of changes. Romeo, I don't think, will keep his place, depending on the fitness of 𝒃𝒄𝒄n𝐿, but we shall see. So let's look at the Preston team. What I think the Preston team will probably be. They've got some injuries, so I think they'll go 3-4-3 kind of thing. I haven't got the graphics, unfortunately, because it's a live one, so it's a bit more tricky. But I think they go Woodman, Story, Lindsay, Best, and then Potts, Whiteman, Brown, Brady, Holmes, Osmajic, and 𝐂i𝐭y L𝐞g𝐿. Preston play good football. They're very difficult to break down. There is some space in those wide areas because they don't play necessarily like what you would traditionally think of wing backs. So the whole point of wing backs is that they cover the defensive as fullbacks, but they also get forward as wingers. They're very fit players who do 2 jobs. They line up more in, like I said, a 3-4-3. So there is potential to get down those little spaces down the side of the 3. And I think the young lad Story is very good at covering those spaces. But if we can get the likes of Bowler and Grant into those spaces, Robinson into those spaces, that's where I think we can do damage on the break, and particularly in a transition. So if you've got a 𝒐𝒅𝒂𝒕𝒄𝒄 or someone like this who wins the ball high up the pitch, if he can then distribute it quickly, which he's very good at doing, whether it's a through ball or a switch ball into those wide areas, I think that's where Cardiff can benefit and really trouble Preston. Preston will look to play through the middle areas, and then Holmes and Brady will try and work off and create chances for a match. Osmajic and 𝒂i𝐭y. My man to watch is for Preston is for 𝒂i𝐭y. I think 𝒂i𝐭y is a very good footballer, and he's really found his feet at Preston, and looks like you could see what the fuss was about him previously. They play some great stuff on the ball. They got a lot of legs in the team. They got a young team as well because they got players out. So whilst that can benefit Cardiff in the inexperience, it can also benefit Preston in that the way they play, they need energetic players who can really try and put Cardiff under pressure with the press. And that's something Cardiff will need to do. Cardiff will need to keep the ball very well, as they've generally done this season pretty well. But we need, particularly away from home, Cardiff will need to keep the ball well and then get into those areas, like I say, down the wide, into the pockets of space to push on. In terms of Cardiff, I'm hoping that 𝒃𝒄𝒄n𝐿 comes in for Romeo. The back 5 then picks itself in that you've got 𝒃𝒄𝒄, McGuinness, Goutas, Collins. 𝒐𝒅𝒂𝒂𝒕𝒃𝒓, fit, touch wood. I would go with rules, simply because I think keeping the ball is going to be really important. Away from home, you need to keep the ball, but also in those transitional plays, we need to be able to play through the lines, switch it out wide, play it through, find Robinson in pockets of space. So you need good passes of the balls. And I think when you look at the midfield that we have to choose from, 𝒐𝒅𝒂𝒕𝒃𝒓 and rules fit the bill best for that. I would go with Bowler, Robinson, Grant, and I would go with 𝒃𝒕𝒕𝒃𝒓 up front. Probably. Yeah, no, I'd go with 𝒃𝒕𝒕𝒃𝒓. I think he's done a good job, particularly away from home. I'd probably go with 𝒃𝒕𝒕𝒃𝒓 tomorrow. I wouldn't be gutted if Atete was got the nods to start. I've been quite impressed with his attitude change, his work rate. In terms of 𝒃o𝒃, I think he's 3rd in the list. In fact, I'd rather see Colwell at 10 and Robinson play through the middle if the choice was 𝒃o𝒃 or Robinson through the middle. But I think Robinson plays 10. I think I'd go with Bowler and Grant, because they do a bit more defensively to help out the fullbacks. Particularly 𝒂i𝐭y has been targeted in a few of the recent games, so it's important that Grant is there to give him support. And like I say, hopefully 𝒃𝒃𝒔 is fit, because he's been such a vital player for Cardiff. And actually, Romeo looked really rusty, and we miss 𝒃𝒃𝒔 a lot. In terms of my players to watch, like normally I would go for, a 𝒐𝒅𝒅𝒕𝒄𝒓 or a bowler. Grant, I think all of them are going to be very important. Robinson, I think they're all going to be really important to Cardiff, and in an attacking sense, like I mentioned, with the transitions and winning the ball high up. Because of the way Preston play, they will try and keep the ball. They will try and play from the back. And these players will be really important when they're pressing. They have to, when that press gets triggered by Meite or Atete, whoever it may be, the others have to go too. They cannot go in fits and starts. It's got to be as a group. So that'll be interesting, because I think there's an opportunity to get at Preston if we can win the ball back in the press or win the ball back on the halfway line. 𝒐𝒅𝒂𝒃𝒔's vision is exceptional. Like, one of my favorite things about him, if you remember when I did the scout report on him at the start of the season when he signed, was that one of my favorite things he does is he'll win the ball back in his own half or halfway line, and without looking, will flip a big long ball out to the left. So that's an interesting comment. Rob says he spoke to Matt about this earlier, but Grant for him is no fart, no poo. Yeah, I think he's desperate for a goal, Karlan Grant, and I think it's almost got into his head a bit. So you can see when he got through versus Norwich, he hesitated instead of just stroking it home. The main reason I would play him is I think creatively he looks dangerous. He creates for other people, but he's the best winger we have available to support Jemali Collins going backwards as well. So I would definitely start him. If O'Dowda was available, maybe I'd make an argument for him, because I think he's a bit better to go forward. But I just think he's snatching at stuff. And Grant, I still stand by what I said earlier in the season. I could see Grant playing through the middle, but I think he needs that goal. And I think we'll see the confidence come into him. He just looks, he's a very good footballer. He works hard. He's very good on the ball. He does create for the striker and for the Robinson. It's just when he gets into those goal scoring opportunities, he's snatching at the ball. My man to watch for Cardiff City is 𝒃𝒃𝒔. Absolutely vital to the way Cardiff play defensively. He has been colossal this year. Tackles, positioning, use of the ball, every single aspect of his defensive play has been absolutely superb. And as soon as he was out with that back five, we looked less. We looked less than. I don't want to say we looked bad or anything like that, but we just looked less than. We didn't look as comfortable. We didn't look as relaxed. I think he's quite a vocal player. And, Matt McGuinness is fairly young still as well. Fairly young. And I think 𝒃𝒃𝒔 has been an absolute, like we all knew he was good. I think he's been an absolute revelation under Bulut. I think the way he's played different roles as an inverted fullback, as a traditional fullback, his defensive play, his tackling has been superb. And to me, if 𝒃𝒃𝒔 has a good game on Saturday, Cardiff have a very good chance of winning. If we can keep a clean sheet, I think we'll score. So I think that makes all of the back five important. But 𝒃𝒃𝒔 to me has made a difference this year. He's also scored, I think he's a top scorer. Scored a few goals. He is absolutely vital to the way Cardiff play, both going forward and whether he slots in alongside 𝒐𝒅𝒂𝒃𝒔 or whether he pushes up and supports bowler. Because bowler cuts in all the time. There is a space for a traditional winger, and I think 𝒃𝒃𝒔 can take advantage of that, especially the system that Preston play. So going forward and back, I think 𝒃𝒃𝒔 is the man to watch. As I've said previously, I'm very concerned that January, summertime, McGuinness and Romeo will be targets for other clubs who think they can get them on the cheap. If you think of their age, their profile, they're good on the ball, good defensively, good positionally. It all adds up. Physically, very good, fit, strong, don't miss a great deal of games. Like, they tick a lot of boxes. I don't think we'll sell, certainly in January, but I imagine that come the summer, one of them might go. One of them, depending on where Cardiff are and if we get promoted and stuff. So it's interesting, like Rob is sort of saying about Karlan Grant in the comments. Like, I don't think you can start Tanner away from home. So, like, who else do you start on the left? Unless you put Robinson on the left and Colwell in the middle. And I just don't, I think that's too attacking away from home against one of the better teams in the league this year. So, to me, Karlan Grant has to play while O'Dowda's out. And I do believe that he's one goal away from, could come off his ass or his elbow, whatever. If he gets a goal, I think he'll relax. He's just snatching at chances. He creates loads of chances with his crossing and little through balls. He's also, like, Jamalu Collins always looks under more pressure when Karlan Grant goes off. Always. He does so much to help him. And I think it'll be interesting because I think Jamalu Collins has been really good this year. And I think it's vital that we don't let him get... And NG, you don't want to have your fullbacks isolated against this Preston team because they've got some really good players. Robbie Brady is a really good footballer. And if you give him time and space, he will do damage to you. And they've got two good strikers in '𝐭i𝐿 and what's his face? 𝒔𝐿smatevich. You give these players time, they're going to cause us problems. They're going to get goals. So it's vital that we don't give them that time. And playing Karlan Grant is much, much more... it's a much more intelligent play away from home. And also, like, he creates, not just creates chances with the ball, with his through balls, 1-2s, crosses. It's the space he creates for others to run into. Particularly, I think Robinson benefits from Karlan Grant's and Josh Bowler's movement a lot. Like, he finds himself in those little pockets of space that are created by the wingers. So yeah, like, to me, I don't think there's a better option on the left currently. In terms of a prediction, my heart says 2-1 to Cardiff City, but my head says 1-1. I do think if Cardiff keep a clean sheet, I think Cardiff will win. I fancy Cardiff to score at least one goal. So I just think if we can keep a clean sheet tomorrow, I think we've got a good chance because some midfield and our wingers, they're all in pretty good form. So the back five, 𝒃𝒃 back in there. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'll give you 2 minutes to ask some questions before I get myself off to bed. But it's been a busy day. 2 shows tonight as well. Guys, next Wednesday is the Cardiff City fan show, live from the Rum and Tavern. If you can get down to the Rum and Tavern, please do come down. It's going to be great to have you. We have a guest joining us online, where we'll be making a big announcement about the final City Legends show of the year on the 15th of December. It is an absolute humdinger. We've got a few other things set up for it. It's going to go out in style this year and hopefully set the tone for next year because already started making plans for next year. And this guy's got some stories, let me tell you. And I'm really excited. I think people will enjoy it. And I'll hopefully see you all next Friday at the Rum and Tavern as well for the evening with Darren Pearce. Still a few tickets to go. Links in the description for that. If you haven't got your tickets yet, please do go and get them. Darren is an absolute top guy, former captain of the club, as well as the current under-21s manager. He's happy to talk about all of it. So please do come down, say hello, spend the evening with us, a couple of drinks, ask your questions, get involved is what I say. Links in the description. Make sure, if you can't make it to the Rum and Tavern on Wednesday for the fan show, watch it online and see the guest. He's only joining us for 10 minutes, but you'll see the big announcement. Tickets will go on sale. they will go very quickly, and it's going to be some special stuff. I'm excited by it. Really, really excited by it, guys. I appreciate you joining me for Rhodri Giggs and football, for this, for the shows and stuff like that. I'm sure these kind of previews and stuff will go back to being pre-recorded next week, although I don't mind doing a live one now and again. It's always a pleasure. Have a great weekend. Come on, the Bluebirds. Let's have it.